this should be a final video in the series about this warning that I published here on Patreon exclusively on Sunday. And if you look at the stock, if you look particularly in the very beginning on Monday, because I recorded on Sunday, let's say we just track it from here, it is now down about 5.5%. Now, of course, there's the macro environment. That, of course, is also putting the pressure on Tesla stock for it to go downwards. But we are also now seeing analysts lowering their delivery estimates. Gary Black, for example, published his latest estimate, which is only at 440,000. Troy also lowered his estimate, which is now at 442,000, the one that's public. And his latest current estimate as of September 20th is 434,434. And we are starting to see that with many other analysts as well. They are lowering their estimates, and I think that has some effect on the stock. Although Bradford said that he thinks that that Tesla stock is down today at least because everyone supposedly found out that Giga Texas is shut down, but that has been abundantly clear for a long time now, actually. Here's an article from Teslarati, and this is from September 6. From September 6. This is a long time ago, and actually I already reported a rumor that it could be shut down a day before it was officially published. So I don't know, maybe on YouTube I was the first one. I'm not exactly sure. I don't watch every single channel, but maybe I was the first. I certainly reported on it at least twice. And then I mentioned it in passing multiple times in other videos after that. Yeah, and Tesla Daily also mentioned this earlier, although Rob was criticized. This is a video from September 19th. He was criticized that he did not make it very explicit that the factory was shut down. So if you watched anyone else other than Tesla Daily, I think it was very clear. And if you watched Tesla Daily and you paid attention to everything that was said, I think it was pretty clear as well. And people with a lot of money that move the markets, they pay attention. So I would find it unlikely that the shutdown of that factory is what's driving Tesla stock lower right now, this very moment. Now, the sentiment, perhaps because it's been shut down for a little while, maybe many people thought it would be not shut down for such a long time. Maybe that you could say partially is driving the stock down as well. But then at the same time, it was made pretty clear during the conference call, the earnings call, that there will be shutdown. So I don't think this is really much of a surprise. However, what was not clear was, will there be deliveries of the refresh Model 3 in China this quarter? Because Tesla is now able to make these deliveries, technically has the permit and everything, and Tesla could start deliveries right now if it wanted to within China. It has not, at least when I'm recording this video at 3:50 p.m. Pacific time on Thursday, on September 21st. The deliveries, I personally haven't seen anyone take a delivery of a single refresh Model 3 within China. That part was not clear, because this is actually important for both long-term investors and maybe for people that don't have such a long time horizon, because this also indicates how fast the Model 3 ramp is going. And because we are not seeing any sales within China yet, what that means to me is the ramp is not going super fast. Maybe it's pretty good, but it's not extremely good. Because if it's extremely good, why would you then not sell these vehicles within China as well? If you made enough vehicles for exporting already, why not sell these vehicles in China right now? The answer to that question, I believe, is the ramp is not enough to sustain both the Chinese and the European market at the same time. So you have to choose. Which one do you choose? Do you choose the Chinese market or the European market? Well, in Europe, generally, Tesla sells cars for a little bit more money, and typically the margins are a little bit better, even though Tesla needs to pay tariffs. So generally, Tesla usually chooses to saturate the European market first before it saturates the Chinese market. But also, if you want to maximize the deliveries of the next quarter, and if you think that your ramp cannot be so good that you will be able to make more cars, that production will exceed demand, if you think you have such a conundrum, then it makes sense to produce as many vehicles right now for exporting, because it takes about a month to get vehicles from Shanghai to European markets. So this way, you can maximize the deliveries for the whole quarter. So my main takeaway as a longer-term investor is the ramp perhaps is good. And based on the previous rumors, it was supposed to be really good. We were supposed to be, at this moment, basically, at the number of refresh Model 3s produced in Giga Shanghai equal to the number before the refresh, pretty much, which would be very, very good if that rumor is true. And perhaps it is true. But the evidence perhaps points to somewhat a little bit to the opposite. And if you can have a faster ramp instead of a slower ramp, of course, I would prefer a faster ramp. I mean, would I prefer to already have the Cybertruck out already? Like a year ago? Yeah, I would. My preference would be, yes, I would prefer that. Now, does that change any of my expectations? Actually, no. Tesla is still exceeding my expectations generally. Tesla would have to screw up really badly for me to change my assumptions, because if you look at my expectations, if you look at my next year's expectations, my expectations are actually for my base case. If you did see that spreadsheet, you know what I mean. I'm very happy with Tesla right now. Anyway, largely, I'm very happy with Tesla. Just if you were expecting a super big breakthrough, because Tesla would be ramping up the refresh Model 3 extremely, extremely fast, I would lower these expectations right now. It seems like that rumor that said that Tesla would be producing basically the same number of refresh Model 3s equal to how many Tesla produced before the refresh, yeah, it looks like it's going to take a little bit more time. But if that rumor would have been true, Tesla stock, I think, could have rallied quite a bit, even in the short term. Again, of course, not financial advice. It could still happen. I mean, the production of Model 3, the ramp going really fast, it could still happen. But the evidence so far slightly points to the opposite. It's not concrete evidence. It's more like, okay, well, based on this secondary thing, we can sort of guess that this is what's happening. It's not concrete. It's just a guess. So anyway, we will know very soon how the ramp is actually going. At this moment, I expect the refresh Model 3s to start deliveries within China. Probably not this quarter, but more likely next quarter. And don't be surprised if the estimates come down by a little bit. I mean, the analyst consensus. Don't be surprised if it comes down a little bit more, which could further potentially impact Tesla stock as everyone is finding out what's going on. However, what is more important, I think, is the yearly delivery target, which is 1.8 million currently still. That, I think, is still, at this moment, pretty secure. But we'll find out how the ramp is going with the refresh Model 3 and all of that. But at this moment, I think it looks pretty good. That's it for today's update, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching.